Hi, friends. Oh, I'm so glad you came today. Friends, I'm in the middle of getting ready for my groups. So I put a whole bunch of pencils in some cups. And I just want to make sure I label them with the right amount in each cup so that I don't confuse when I have to pass them out later. So let's see. In that first cup, there are how many pencils? Yep, five. What about in that second cup? How many pencils are there? Oh, five again. In that last cup? Ah, perfect. There are three. All right, excellent. Thank you so much for helping me get organized with my cups. I have so many different cups that I need to be adding together later on when I pass them out to my friends. You know what? As I'm looking at these cups, I cannot help but think about math. I know, you know how I am. I love math. And I'm thinking, if I have all of these cups and I want to know how many I have all together, what would I need to do, friend? Yeah, I would need to add all the pencils in each of the cups together in order to find out how many pencils I have in total. Do you agree? Yeah. Now, if I just had pencils, I could just dump them into one cup and then count how many are there. But I right now have three different cups and I don't want to get them all mixed up because they're for my groups. So I need to look at the three different parts by themselves. So let me get organized here. I don't need the cups anymore because I wrote down on a piece of paper how many are in each. And just to be a little bit more neat and tidy, let's just make it into a regular number sentence. All right, very cool. All right, so now what does my number sentence say? Yes, it says 5 plus 3 equals, I don't know, something, right? The total. Now, how come we're adding so many different parts? Yeah, it's because we had three different parts to begin with. We had three different cups, right? We didn't dump them all into one big cup. We still had three different cups. So we had three different parts we need to add together. And we have lots of addends in this number sentence. Do you agree? Addend? Oh, do you not remember what that is? An addend is a very fancy word. Can you go ahead and say that fancy word, addend? Yeah, I told you it was really fancy. An addend is just a fancy way of saying the parts that you add together. So when we have a number sentence or when we have groups of things that we're trying to add together, all the parts are called addends. They're the parts we add together. So in our number sentence that we just created with our cups, we had three addends, right? We had three different parts. We had 5 from that first cup, 5 from the second cup, and then 3 from the last cup. See our three parts? Yeah, those are all different addends. All right, cool. So now I'm looking at this number sentence and it's a lot. That's a lot to add together. Do you agree? Yeah, and I'm trying to think, is there anything I see in that really big number sentence that could maybe help me out adding a little bit easier or a little bit more efficiently? Remember to do it fast? Oh my goodness, I see two numbers that go together to make a very cool number. If I were to add 5 plus 5, do you remember what number that makes? Yeah, 5 and 5 are 10, friends. They make a 10, right? So instead of having to add those two parts all together with the third part, I can just add those together first. So 5 plus 5 equals 10. And then all I have to do is add on the other three, the other part, right? So then my number sentence becomes 10 plus 3. Well, I know 10 plus 3. I can say 10 and then count on 3. 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, let's go. Okay, so what I did here is I went ahead and I made my own update to this number sentence by thinking about what I know. And I know that when you see 10 friends, you can add them together very quickly. We're really good at 10 friends to make a 10. And now that I've used those partners to 10 to make 10, I just have to add in the remaining part, right? So I had 10 plus 3, and that's how I got to 13. Well, you know what? You came at the perfect time to help me out getting ready for my groups because our learning goal for today says I can group to make 10 when there are three parts. And that's just what we did with our pencils, right? We had three different cups, three different parts, and we added them together and we used the partners of 10 to help us get there. Let's see if we can do it again. You know what? Right now would probably be a really good time for you to press pause and go get a piece of paper and a pencil or a dry erase board and a marker. And we're going to practice making 10 when we're adding three parts. So can you go ahead and do that and press play when you're ready? Okay, so here we go. So I actually went to the beach this weekend and I got so many cool shells. So right now we're going to go ahead and count how many shells we have of each. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blue shells. We have, I see that's a five group, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 purple shells. And then how many starfish shells we have? Yeah, just one. Okay, perfect. Okay, so can you go ahead on your dry erase board or your marker, or dry erase board or piece of paper, can you write down 791? Okay, so now remember, our goal today is to learn how to find partners of 10 when we're adding so many different parts together. So from 791, do you see any two numbers we could put together that are 10 friends, that are partners that when they work together, they make 10? You do? Yeah, I do too. Okay. So now when we are making a group or we're making a 10 from different numbers, we want to make sure that we are showing that good work. We don't just want to start writing numbers out of nowhere, right? So the way we're going to do that today is we're going to do it's called a little caret. We're just going to draw a little line down from one of the numbers. So this part we're going to start with is 9. Then we're going to make a connecting part. So it kind of looks like half of a triangle, okay, between the 9 and the 1, because those are the 10 friends or the partners to make 10. And so we're going to show we're taking these two numbers and we're putting them together. So make sure that when you're making your 10 today, that you're showing that change on your work, right? We want to make sure everyone knows our good thinking. Okay, so 9 plus 1, that of course equals 10. So I'm going to go ahead and write that at the bottom of my caret. Okay, go ahead and write that. Perfect. Okay, so are we done with this number sentence? Did we figure out how many seashells we have? No, we did not. We just figured out that if we put the 9 part together with the 1 part, that will equal 10. Okay, so what other part do we still need to add? That's exactly right, friends. We have to add in that 7, right? We can't forget them. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add, and we have to add in that other number. So we're going to put that into our number sentence. So now our number sentence says 7 plus 10. Now, if you want, you can put the 7 on the other side of the 10. It doesn't really make a difference. All right, so now we just have to figure out, what does that equal? So once your number sentence looks like mine, can you go ahead and press pause? Can you figure out what that answer is? And then press play to check yourself. Okay, friends, what was your answer? Ooh, okay, I did 10, and then I counted on 7. So I did 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Is that what you got? Let's go. We're so good, friends. Wow, good job making 10 when there are 3 different parts. Awesome job. Okay, erase your board or find a new spot on your piece of paper. I'm getting out some counting cubes, friends. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out how many of each part there are, right? So we're going to count each row of counting cubes. Can you go ahead and count them? Press pause while you do it. Count each row, and can you write those numbers on your dry erase board or on your paper? Press play when you're ready. Okay, so in that first row, I see that there are 8. In the second row, I see there are 4. In the last row, I see there are 2. Is that what you got? Oh, good job. If not, it's okay. Upgrade your work. Okay, now remember, when we have 3 parts today, we are trying to find 10. We want to make a 10. So, what 2 numbers could we put together to make 10? Did you find them? You see those 10 friends? Yes, 8 and 2. 8 and 2 make 10. So we have to make our little caret. Now my caret's going to be really stretched out. And it's okay. Your carets, all they have to do is just be 2 connecting the lines, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect 8 and 2 because I want to show that good change that I'm taking 8 and 2. I'm taking those 2 parts and I'm putting them together to make 10. So you want to go ahead and make sure that when you're putting 2 parts together that you're showing your change and then you are writing down the new number. Okay, so we put 8 and 2 together. We made 10. Are we done? No, we are not. Today we're adding 3 parts. So what's the other part we need to add in, friends? Go ahead and write it on your board. Good job. Yes, we need to add in that last part, which is 4. So we're going to add 4. And then, friends, what will that equal? Go ahead and write down. Finish your number sentence. Perfect. We have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wow. Okay, do you see how we made 10 when there were 3 parts? And then it helped us to add just a little bit quicker. All right. I love being in charge of the numbers and having them work for me. And when we have three parts, finding numbers that go together so beautifully, like the partners of 10, is going to be extremely helpful in solving the problem because we can make a quick 10 and then add in that last part. All right, friends, our learning goal for today says I can group to make 10 when there are three parts. And that's exactly what we did today. And we did amazing, if I do say so myself. So, as you are doing your good work, make sure that you're taking your good time, you're finding those partners of 10, you're drawing your little caret or your little lines to connect them, and you're writing 10 when you show that change that you made. Okay, and then don't forget to add in that last part. All right, see you next time. Bye, friends.